Brothers Lloyd and Willis Allen are looking forward to shooting some buck.
Someone got himself a big one.
Looks like it.
Heading deeper into the woods, they make a gruesome discovery.
They saw a foot sticking up over the edge of the ditch.
The foot belongs to a mutilated corpse that is partly covered in leaves and dripping with blood.
The hell could have done that?
I don't know, but let's get out of here before it comes back.
Terrified by what they've discovered, the brothers run to get help.
Oh, Jesus.
Conway detectives are called to investigate.
They showed up immediately with the crime scene analysis team.
All right, boys, get them to section this off. I don't want any more footprints here.
Officers are shocked at the scene. The mangled body of a young woman who's also been brutally sexually assaulted.
We got ourselves a modern-day Jack the Ripper.
Maybe some kind of satanic cult?
Her throat had been cut, and she had been stabbed in the neck and in the face.
Look at how the shirt is pulled out and the pants down. Sweetie. We're gonna hunt down this wild animal. That's a promise.
It was a very brutal, very grotesque murder. That it had to be someone of extreme power.
The location of the crime scene makes the investigation difficult.
This was a heavily populated area among young people. It was considered a lover's lane of a sort. So there were numerous tire tracks, there were footprints, there's hunting activity going on. So there was nothing of a singular nature to point to an individual or even a group of individuals.
The body is taken to the county medical examiner for further analysis.
She died from exsanguination. Not only did she have 32 stab wounds subjected to her, but the only thing that was holding her head on her body was her spinal cord.
The medical examiners also discover a clue to the victim's identity.
They found a ring belonging to Crystal Faye Todd. Her name was engraved on the inside, and they were able to immediately begin to track it back and then put it together with the missing persons report.
Crystal's mother had alerted police that very morning that her 17-year-old daughter was missing.
I know Aunt Bonnie Faye had called earlier in the morning and said, "Hey, Crystal never made it home last night. I'm worried about her."
Police call the family with the devastating news.
The only thing I remember was sitting in the living room and my mama screaming, "Oh my God, Crystal's dead. They found her. She's been murdered."
Crystal Faye Todd was a junior in high school.
She was a very bright student, very pleasant young lady, always had a pretty neat circle of friends around her. She was very well liked.
Nobody could say anything bad about her. She was a wonderful girl.
Crystal and her mother, Bonnie, were very close.
Crystal and Bonnie Faye not only were mother and daughter, but they had like a best friend relationship. They went everywhere together. They did everything together.
She was smart. She helped me all the time.
Like many teenagers, Crystal enjoyed hanging out at the mall with her friends.
The mall was the most popular place in Conway. All the teenagers met up there.
How did a well-liked, well-behaved high school student like Crystal Faye Todd wind up savagely murdered deep in the woods?
The town was afraid because their security had been broken. You didn't see children playing out toward dusk. They were very wary of people that they hadn't seen. And the rumor mill just went berserk. And there was talk about her being mutilated by some satanic cult.
And there were other rumors, including one about a local construction worker who Crystal was sweet on.
Crystal had this crush on an older guy. His name was Andy Tyndall. He was a felon. He left Alabama, and he was here illegally.
When detectives searched Crystal's school locker, they found Andy Tyndall's name scrawled all over her notebooks.
she had scribbled, "Crystal loves Andy," and stuff like that. The family did not know him.
He had actually done time in prison. Andy was 31 years old and married. So immediately, the alarm bells went off.
Coming up,
what are you doing sitting here in the dark?
when fun and games
I totally had fun tonight.
get a little too serious.
Just something to say to my face, bitch!
Hey!
A high school student gone missing.
The hell could have done that?
Attacked by a monster.
We got ourselves a modern-day Jack the Ripper.
Her body abandoned in the woods. At the end of a long evening, Crystal Faye is giving her friend Carla a ride back to her car at the mall.
It had attended a party that night in a little area called Punch Bowl. And Crystal dropped off a friend of hers, Carla Allen, and then she was going to go on home.
I totally had fun tonight. Thanks. Good night. Get home safe. Yeah, you too.
Although Crystal still has more than an hour before her own 12:30 p.m. curfew, she decides to go home. Until...
It's been a while. What are you doing sitting here in the dark?
Waiting for you.
Oh, yeah?
Come on, get in.
It's about to head out. I gotta be home in an hour.
That's more than enough time.
For what?
Hop in and I'll show you.
All right, but only for a little while.
She parked her car and they went off riding.
You can see the stars. Pretty. It's like God's eyes shining down on us. So where are we going?
Almost there.
Eventually ended up in an area, kind of a lover's lane type of situation.
You're acting kind of funny. Why'd you take me here?
You gotta ask.
This again. Come on. Take me back to my car. I said take me back to my car. Now.
You want this? You see the way you look at me? Feel me? You want this? You want this real bad.
I don't want this.
He just flipped.
Teach you, dirty girl! You're gonna respect me! Come on.
Please tell me I'm gonna go home.
You ain't going home this time.
At a local party, Crystal Faye Todd and her friend Carla are having fun at the expense of a classmate.
At the party, Crystal saw a young man that she'd been interested in.
I know, right? It's
That's so dumb. I don't... Yeah, he's a dim one. All right, it's like, here's some holy water. What about Andy?
Just something you say to my face, bitch?
Hey, okay, back off. We were just kidding. Okay?
Oh.
Hey, let me get you a real drink.
Nope. It's about time for me to go anyway.
All right, but you're not really fun anymore, so...
Do you want to ride to your car?
Why not?
She wanted to leave the party fairly quickly.
You never know when a boogeyman's gonna get ya.
Coming up,
You interested in some extracurricular activities?
when things heat up,
Hey, you're my girl.
down Lover's Lane. Heading home before curfew,
You're gonna be late.
a sensible girl
You ain't going home this time.
makes a fateful choice. School is out, and Crystal Todd is hanging with her bestie Carla and another friend.
Carla was Crystal's best friend. They did a lot together. She was a good girl, and they were very, very close.
Sure.
Oh my God, Crystal and Andy?
Shut up.
You have it so bad for Andy.
No.
That's adorable. You're so cute. Oh my God.
Hey, girl. You free from that prison yet?
Andy ran with the high school crowd and the post-high school crowd. He was a good-looking young man, very nicely built. He looked much younger than 31.
Well, you interested in some extracurricular activities? No, seriously, the guys and I just finished up a job down the street.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Owners are out of town. It's a total reno. Thought we'd get some beers and hang out. You want to come?
Sounds fun.
All right. Well, get in, little girl.
Okay, but not too late.
I promise I'll have you back before your bedtime. You good?
Yeah.
See you later.
Andy was very self-confident, the sort of type of man that young girls with little experience would be attracted to. He would prey on young women.
Oh my God. You're so dreamy.
Ken Register, a recent graduate of Conway High School, has just pulled up on the campus of Coastal Carolina University.
He had a small circle of friends, and he liked to hunt and fish, but that was typical of a lot of the male population of Conway.
Ken was a nice young man. He was very active in his church.
There you are.
Hi, do we know you?
Beautiful day for a walk, isn't it?
What's up? Did we meet at Psi Delta?
Yep. Don't you remember me? Body shots.
Oh my God.
You like it?
What is it? This guy's thing now, he's freaking pervert.
Look at this, girls. You like, you know you do.
I can't see it from this close. We need binoculars.
The girls immediately ran into the campus police station and reported this.
Ken was arrested for exposing himself.
Crystal Todd and Ken Register are childhood friends, but today, Ken has something on his mind.
Crystal and Ken grew up about a mile down the road from each other. They would hang out together in the summers.
What? Hey, you're my girl.
He and Crystal had dated for a brief period, and they knew one another through the school, and as friends, through really an up and down relationship, would continue to talk and see one another.
You sure are pretty.
Crystal had hung out with him a couple of times on her own, but she had no interest in any type of intimate relationship with him.
And come on, I can't.
What? We need to take this to the next level, all right? You and me.
Ken was pretty adamant about wanting to have sex, and that just wasn't her thing, and, you know, that put the kibosh on it real quick.
Ken, we're just friends.
Coming up,
Is that why you like the high school girls?
When no means no.
All women find me attractive.
But someone gets persistent.
Why do you ask?
When local boys go cruising,
Back off. We were just kidding.
there's the right approach
Thought we'd get some beers and hang out.
and the wrong approach.
Body shot.
Oh my God.
When feelings get the upper hand.
We need to take this to the next level.
Ken Register is putting the moves on Crystal Faye Todd, and she's not having it.
We're just friends.
Then why did you lead me on if you...
Lead you on? Ken, I didn't know. Tease? You really need a reality check. I am not your girl, and I'm not interested in you. Please take me home. Ken, please take me home.
She had no desire to date him. She was okay with being friends. But I think any time that you want something that you can't have, it becomes a challenge and you want it that much more.
I'll take you home.
A small-town creep
What are you doing sitting here in the dark?
who lets it all hang out
Ken, come on, I can't.
and won't take no for an answer.
Hey, you're my girl.
Goes under the radar.
You never know when a boogeyman's gonna get you.
While police chase down the wrong man.
We got our guy.
You didn't do anything, man, I swear.
If you didn't do anything, Tinder, why'd you run? Huh? Why'd you run?
I can't believe this.
The police were elated. They thought they had their guy. Here was a guy with a criminal history. They found his name on Crystal's notebook, and so could tie him directly to Crystal.
Andy Tyndall faces some pointed questions.
So, Andy, is it tough when women your own age don't find you attractive?
All women find me attractive.
Is that why you like the high school girls? Fantasize about them? Perhaps someone like Crystal.
I don't have to take this crap.
During the interview, he maintained his innocence the whole time. The police were not able to extract a confession.
I didn't kill her, I swear.
Then why'd you run?
Sometimes old instincts just kick in.
And when Tyndall submits to a DNA test, it comes back negative.
His DNA, he wasn't even close. So they shipped him back to Alabama, and that was the end of that.
But if Tyndall isn't Crystal's killer, who is? The investigation stalls.
I think everybody was ready to know who had committed this crime.
One person, Ken Register, seems especially interested in the progress of the case.
Hi, Mrs. Todd. I was just wondering, have the police been talking to you?
Why do you ask, Ken?
Crystal's mother tells police about Ken's frequent visits, and soon they ask him for his DNA.
He stopped and talked to my mom, and he was like, I just had to go get my blood. They're going to pin it on me.
The test confirms Ken Register's DNA is all over the crime scene.
He had been the person who had been a pallbearer who had comforted Crystal's mother.
Under questioning, Ken gives it all up.
He broke down and confessed. I guess the pressure had gotten to him.
He said she had haunted him, and Ken was angry going into this encounter with Crystal that night, and he said he lost it.
He said he grabbed a knife and just blanked out. I mean, come on. You don't blank out and stab somebody 32 times. It was just overkill is what it was.
I believe that if it would not have been my cousin, then it could have been any other woman. And I believe if they would not have discovered who had killed Crystal, that he definitely would have killed again.
Ken Register is convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
He's the devil. He enjoyed what he'd done to my daughter.
Crystal's family will never get over losing her in such a senseless, brutal manner.
I think when Crystal died, Aunt Bonnie Faye died. It just kind of tore our whole family apart. The one thing that I will miss most about Crystal is the fact that I never got to see who she would become.
There's a lot of hunting that goes on in this area. Deer hunting, duck hunting in season, all the different seasons are ripe for hunting here. And so out in the rural areas, a lot of people hunt, not only for recreation, but to actually put food on their tables. So there were hunters out that morning.
Crystal had a great fashion sense. She was always up to date on the latest trends. She might not have had a lot of money, but she knew how to dress. She always had nice jewelry on. She had her hair done, always had new pair of shoes, and she was beautiful. Everything she wore, she was put together very well and wore it well. She was okay with being friends. She had no desire to date him. She was looking forward to college. She was looking forward to becoming an adult and growing up. And at that time, she was like, I don't want to date him. He smells like cigarettes, and he only wants one thing, and I don't need that in my life. And time after time again, people would share the information that they had heard about the details that they had heard about how she was stabbed, how she was gutted like a deer, how she was raped in every orifice of her body. And every single time he would walk outside and he would throw up and get sick. And it was just really odd because nobody else, everybody was upset and everybody was crying, but it was like as soon as people started talking about it, he would visibly get sick and have to excuse himself.
When they identified Ken, they not only identified the person who had done this, but they also identified those characteristics of his past that gave him the profile of a serial killer. So Roy Hazelwood of the FBI would later say, "You're lucky you caught him this first time out."
Ken had a past, a violent past. He was addicted to porn. He was very cruel to animals. Several of his friends have given different stories of how he would torture animals on hunting trips. There was telltale signs that he had a problem, but I guess nobody ever thought that the problem that he had would ever go as far as it did.